Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be loved on a global scale, not just adored, not just admired, but embraced so deeply that people from different countries, different cultures, different backgrounds all look at you and say, "This one. This is the one who changed something inside me"? Tonight, we are diving into a countdown that is far more than just numbers on a list. This is a journey through hearts, memories, and those invisible threads that connect millions of armies to 7 men who started from a small company on a narrow road in Seoul and grew into the emotional backbone of a generation. But here's the twist. Love is complicated. Love is layered. Love isn't always about who sings the highest note, who dances the cleanest choreo, or who gets the loudest cheer on stage. Sometimes, love comes from a moment, a gesture, a random V-Live that happened at 2 a.m., a lyric that someone desperately needed to hear at the lowest point of their life, or even that chaotic laugh one member lets out when he forgets the camera is still rolling. So the real question is, when ARMY across the world were asked, who is the most loved BTS member? What made them choose? What memory flashed in their minds? What emotion rose to the surface? What connection felt too strong to ignore? And yes, there is a ranking. A ranking created not from sales charts or streaming numbers, but from pure affection, lived experiences, and the magnetic pull each member has on the hearts of fans worldwide. But before we dive into number 7, pause for a second and think, what if the member you expect to appear at the top doesn't show up there? What if someone who once stood quietly in the back unexpectedly rises higher than you thought? What if this ranking reveals something deeper about why BTS is not just a group, but a phenomenon shaped by emotion, vulnerability, strength, and sincerity? Get ready for stories you thought you knew, feelings you forgot were there, and the kind of reflective, heartwarming, sometimes goosebump-inducing moments that only BTS could inspire. Because tonight, we're not just counting down favorites. We're peeling back the layers of global love, ARMY love, and exploring the powerful, very human reasons behind each name in this unforgettable top 7. So brace yourself. Who will rise? Who will surprise? And most importantly, who will capture your heart all over again? Let's begin. Number 7, Suga, the quiet flame who speaks loudest through silence. At the 7th spot in our global ranking, we step into a territory that is anything but low, because when the world talks about Min Yoongi, better known as Suga numbers, stop behaving like numbers. This is the man whose influence is quiet but unavoidable, subtle but seismic, calm but deeply transformative. And if you've ever been in ARMY for more than 5 minutes, you already know. Suga is not someone you love loudly. He's someone you end up loving without even realizing when it happened, how it happened, or why it hit you so hard. It begins slowly, maybe from a lyric he wrote that stayed with you longer than it had any right to. Maybe from that one interview where he explained depression, fear, and self-acceptance with the clarity of someone who has been through fire and somehow came out colder, calmer, wiser. Or maybe you first noticed him in a behind-the-scenes clip, quietly fixing a member's collar, giving someone his jacket without making a big deal out of it, smiling in that soft, almost shy way that feels like a rare treasure whenever it appears. Suga's love from ARMY doesn't explode, it grows. It comes from his story. The kid from Daegu who had almost nothing but a dream, a second-hand keyboard, and a stubbornness strong enough to ignore every no life tried to throw at him. He worked part-time delivering food on a motorbike, scraping money together to survive. He produced music from cramped basements. He faced an accident that injured his shoulder, an injury he carried in silence for years, while still performing choreography that pushed him past human limits. And through all of that, he never stopped writing, never stopped composing, never stopped translating pain into something others could hold on to when they felt like falling apart. Maybe that's why ARMY around the world love him so fiercely. Not because he's the loudest, not because he's the flashiest, not because he chases the spotlight, but because he is the kind of person who reminds you that strength doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers through late-night studio sessions, through lyrics that feel like therapy, through the steady presence of someone who understands what it means to be broken and still stand up with dignity. When ARMY votes, they don't just think about Suga the rapper or Suga the producer. They think about August D, the alter ego who dared to put raw anger, trauma, and vulnerability into the world without sugarcoating anything. They think about Yoongi, the man who smiles quietly when someone compliments him, who pets every cat he meets, who tells fans to rest when he sees they're exhausted, who admits when he himself is hurting. And there's something else, something powerful that fans always mention when talking about why they adore him. Suga is the member who doesn't force emotion, but when it comes, it hits like a wave. The rare tears, the rare laughs, the rare soft moments where he leans into another member during a concert or pulls them into a hug backstage. Those tiny moments are so precious precisely because they're not constant. They're real, they're unfiltered, they're Yoongi. And ARMY loves real. Globally, Suga has become a symbol of honesty in an industry that often demands perfection. A reminder that it's okay to feel deeply. A reminder that art can heal. A reminder that silence can speak louder than a stadium filled with screams. That's why, even though he sits at number 7 inches this ranking, the love for him is anything but small. It's steady, it's loyal, it's the kind that endures. Because Suga is not the flame that blinds you, he's the quiet fire that warms you, stays with you, and lights your way long after the noise fades. And as ARMY across the world will tell you, once Yoongi becomes your comfort, your anchor, your safe place, there is no going back. Number 6. Jimin, the heart stealer with the smile that feels like a promise. When we arrive at number 6, we're not stepping down, we're stepping into a whole different kind of emotional gravity. Because Park Jimin is not loved the way most idols are loved. His love from ARMY comes in waves, gentle at first, then overwhelming, then strangely healing, like someone putting a warm hand over a scar you didn't even know you were still carrying. And maybe that's exactly what makes Jimin so unforgettable. The way he makes people feel seen, understood, and cared for all at once, even from behind a screen, even from a stage miles away. Global ARMY always describe the same strange phenomenon. Nobody plans to buy as Jimin, and yet one day, bam, he becomes the reason you can't skip a single fan cam. It starts with his smile. That soft curve that somehow feels like it's directed at you personally, even when he's in front of 60,000 people. But the smile is just the doorway. What waits behind it is a whole universe of warmth, gentleness, and emotional intelligence that has become the reason millions of fans all over the world say, "Jimin saved me." And they mean it. Jimin's love story with ARMY begins long before the world knew his name. Back in Busan, he was the kid who trained until midnight, waking before dawn, pushing through exhaustion because he refused to be ordinary. He studied contemporary dance with the kind of discipline that breaks most people after a week. His teachers said he was born with emotion in his body. And maybe that explains why even now, when Jimin dances, it doesn't look like choreography, it looks like confession. There's a reason so many ARMYs tear up when they watch his performances. He doesn't just hit moves, he pours something into them. A vulnerability, a longing, a softness that feels almost fragile. Like if you blink too long, you'll miss the truth he's trying to tell you, truth he rarely speaks out loud. And yet, Jimin also carries this quiet sadness that fans can sense but can't always explain. Maybe it's the way he always puts others first. Maybe it's the way he apologizes too quickly, even when he's done nothing wrong. Maybe it's the way he looks at fans like they're gifts he doesn't fully believe he deserves. ARMY across the world speak about this often. I just want him to know he's enough. This emotional connection grows deeper when you realize how consistently Jimin shows up for people. He is the first one to hold a crying member, the first one to rub someone's back after a tough rehearsal, the first one to bring laughter when tension rises. And this isn't just the Jimin we see on camera. Members have said for years that Jimin is the emotional center of the group, the glue, the comfort, the person who notices when someone is struggling even before they say a word. That's why his popularity is so unique. His fans don't love him for perfection. They love him for humanity, for the way he tries so hard, for the way he keeps going even when he's scared, for the way he embraces his own flaws and insecurities because he wants others to feel brave enough to do the same. And then there's his voice, breathy, delicate, trembling with emotion like someone reading a diary entry through melody. He is the definition of angelic, not because of the high notes, but because of the truth he carries inside them. And when he laughs, really laughs, the kind where he hides his face and his shoulders shake, ARMY cannot help but fall deeper in love. Across the world, fans describe Jimin as a paradox, strong but gentle, confident but shy, ethereal but painfully human. A contradiction wrapped in soft sweaters and warmth. And maybe that's why he lands at number 6, not because he's loved less, but because his love is more personal, more intimate, more emotional. People don't love him loudly. They love him quietly, deeply, tenderly. Jimin is not the storm. He's the after-rain air, The calm, the comfort, the feeling of being safe. And in a world that moves too fast, where people get hurt too easily, that kind of presence isn't just lovable, it's unforgettable. Number 5. Jin, the worldwide heartbeat, who turns ordinary moments into pure magic. Landing at number 5, we step into a warmth so familiar, so comforting, that millions of ARMY describe it as coming home. Because Kim Seokjin, our Jin, our worldwide handsome, our chaotic oldest brother is loved not just for his visuals or his voice, but for something far more human, the way he makes people feel alive again. His presence, whether on stage, in a V Live, or simply laughing in the background of a rundown practice room, carries a kind of healing that is impossible to fake and even harder to describe. Globally, ARMY's love for Jin is a love built from moments. Those tiny, silly, emotional, ridiculous, unforgettable moments that somehow stick with you and reshape your day, your attitude, your mood. Maybe it starts with his laugh, that loud windshield wiper laugh that erupts without warning and infects everyone around him. Or maybe it begins with the way he gives compliments so casually, like he truly believes everyone deserves to feel like the main character in their own movie. Or maybe it's the way he always tries to make people smile, even when he's tired, even when he's nervous, even when he's hurting. Something about Jin whispers, "Let's not take life too seriously, okay?" But his story runs far deeper than the jokes, the dad humor, and the confident mirror selfies that ARMY have turned into legendary memes. Behind the worldwide handsome persona exists a man who has carried pressure on his shoulders long before anyone knew his name. Born in Gwacheon, Jin was the son who always felt responsible, the friend who tried to lighten the weight of others, the trainee who started with zero dancing background and had to build everything from scratch. He practiced longer than almost anyone, often staying behind after hours just to make sure he wouldn't slow the team down. And while most idols are scouted for their vocal or dance skills, Jin was discovered because of his potential, his aura, his stage presence, his heart. He wasn't expected to become a main vocal, but he did. Not because it came easily, but because he refused to give up. ARMYs around the world always highlight the same pattern. Jin works silently, but his results speak loudly. Whether it's those iconic high notes in Epiphany, the emotional quiver in Moon, or the pure sincerity in The Astronaut, Jin sings like someone giving the most precious part of himself away. He once said he wasn't naturally born with talent. ARMY disagrees. His talent is the way he transforms emotion into melody. His talent is the way he makes you believe you matter. His talent is his heart, and that's why he's so beloved. Because Jin isn't the type who shouts his struggles. He hides them with jokes, masks them with laughter, and pushes forward so the people around him don't worry. ARMY sees that. ARMY feels that. ARMY loves him for it. He's the big brother who treats the members like his own kids, feeding them, teasing them, defending them, grounding them. And globally, ARMY feel that same big brother energy through the screen. He feels like someone who would sit across from you at a late-night convenience store, sharing snacks and telling you that your problems aren't as heavy as you think. Not because they're small, but because you're stronger than you realize. And let's talk about his duality, because Jin has one of the strongest in BTS. On stage, he becomes ethereal, elegant, almost unreal, with visuals that leave fans breathless. But offstage, he's the definition of unfiltered chaos. The man who screams while playing games, the man who burns food but proudly serves it anyway, the man who breaks the tension during serious moments with one perfectly timed joke. This contrast is exactly why ARMY cherish him so deeply. He is both a prince and a disaster, an angel and a menace, a world-class vocalist and a walking meme. And somehow, all of those sides feel incredibly real. Globally, ARMY described Jin's love as warmth you didn't know you needed. In a world filled with pressure, anxiety, and exhaustion, Jin reminds you to laugh, to breathe, to appreciate simplicity, to enjoy this life, even when it feels overwhelming. That's why his ranking at number 5 doesn't reflect being loved less. If anything, it reflects how stable, consistent, and unshakable his global affection is. Jin is the heartbeat you always hear in the background, steady and familiar, reminding you that joy can be simple and love can be effortless. And for millions of ARMY, Jin is not just a member. They see him as comfort, as home, as the brightest star guiding them through dark nights. Number 4, Jewel's Hope, the sunlight that never fades even on the darkest days. Reaching number 4, we enter a realm of energy so bright, so uplifting, so relentlessly life-giving that ARMY across the world describe it with one word: hope. And even if you'd never seen a single BTS performance in your life, even if you somehow missed every legendary dance break, every V Live, every behind-the-scenes laugh one look at young Hoseok, and you'd understand exactly why millions call him the Sunday. But global love for J-Hope isn't just about his smile or his talent. It's about something deeper, something woven into the way he exists, the way he tries, the way he gives. J-Hope is the kind of person whose light doesn't come from being naturally bright. It comes from choosing to shine, again and again, even when life tried to dim him. ARMY around the world feel that. They love him not simply because he's energetic, but because his energy feels earned. Born in Gwangju, Hoseok started life as someone who had to fight his way forward. His parents didn't immediately support his dreams. His early trainers doubted his future. Even his own confidence shook when he joined Big Hit as a dancer who suddenly had to rap, sing, and lead choreography all at once. And yet, he stayed. He pushed himself beyond what was expected, beyond what was comfortable, beyond every limit placed on him. When BTS needed stability, he became their stability. When BTS needed leadership, he became their backbone in the practice room. When tension rose, he became the mood maker. When the group almost fell apart in their pre-debut days, he was the one whose presence held them together. That's the love story ARMY sees. That's the reason he ranks this high. Because J-Hope isn't loved for performance Hoseok alone, he's loved for the countless unseen ways he shaped BTS into what they are today. Globally, ARMY talk about this duality, Hobi the sunshine and Hoseok the human. Sunshine J-Hope is the one who lights up a stage with a smile so powerful it feels like a spotlight of its own. He dances with a sharpness that makes even professional choreographers call him one of the best performers of his generation. His sense of rhythm is so natural, so instinctive, that even non-fans find themselves hypnotized watching him. But Hoseok the human, this is where the world truly, deeply, wholeheartedly falls in love. He's the man who shakes before performing solo, even though he's the most stable dancer in the room. He's the man who practices until sweat pours like rain because he refuses to give ARMY anything less than his best. He's the man who cried quietly during the Wings era because he worried he wasn't good enough, even though the world cheered his name. And then there's his music. The Hope World album didn't just introduce him as a soloist, it solidified him as a global artistic force. Its colors, its optimism, its courage, all of it came from a man who understands what it feels like to crawl from darkness into light. Moore and Arson, on the other hand, showed the world the fire he had been hiding under the surface, the complexity behind the smiles, the ambition behind the kindness. ARMY saw this duality and loved him even more. And in everyday life, J-Hope is nothing short of a miracle. He is the member who cheers the loudest for others. The member who hypes everyone up as if their success is his success. The member who gives gifts without expecting anything back. The member who dances in the rain just because it makes people laugh. The member who claps like a seal when he's happy, who throws himself fully into every celebration, every award show, every practice, every silly moment the group shares. This sincerity is why fans around the world adore him. With J-Hope, nothing is halfway, nothing is fake, nothing is forced. When he smiles, you feel it. When he hurts, you sense it. When he dances, you live it. When he says, "I'm your hope, you're my hope," millions of ARMY believe him not because it's a catchphrase, but because he has proven it through every breath of his career. That's why he holds number 4 with a love so solid it feels unbreakable. J-Hope is not just sunshine, he's the sunrise, the signal that darkness won't last forever, the reminder that effort matters, the promise that joy can be chosen, the living proof that hope can be a person. Number 3, RM, the mind of a leader and the soul of a nation. Entering number 3 feels less like moving up a ranking and more like stepping into a universe, because when the world talks about Kim Namjoon, they don't just talk about an idol. They talk about a philosopher, a poet, a history maker, and a leader whose influence goes far beyond music, beyond language, beyond borders. If BTS is a ship that sailed against every storm the industry could throw at them, then RM is the compass, steady, precise, quietly guiding everyone even when the waves were wild and the night was starless. But ARMY don't love him simply because he is the leader. They love him because of how he leads. With humility, with softness, with a maturity far beyond his years, with a heart that carries the weight of 7, yet still makes room for millions more. His global fanbase sees it every time he steps up to speak at concerts, award shows, press conferences, and of course, the iconic UN speeches that made the entire world realize. And this man isn't just representing BTS, He's representing an entire generation trying to find themselves in a world that keeps changing too fast. RM stands at number 3 not because he demands respect, but because he earns it quietly, consistently, relentlessly. And it all begins long before he ever walked into Big Hit's tiny basement training room. Namjoon was the quiet genius from Ilsan, the boy who wrote poetry on commuter trains, who found comfort in books, who competed in debating competitions, who scored in the top 1% of the nation academically, and who still chose the unstable, unpredictable path of music. Choosing rap meant fighting with his parents, disappointing teachers, risking everything that had once defined him. But Namjoon had something most people never discover: a voice, a worldview, a story only he could tell. So he stepped into the underground rap scene, writing lyrics raw enough to cut through the noise, honest enough to make older rappers stop and stare. By the time he joined Big Hit, he wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing purpose. And ARMY around the world can feel that purpose in everything he does. The reason global fans adore RM so intensely is because he is the bridge between East and West, between past and future, between chaos and clarity. He speaks English not because he was privileged, but because he taught himself through hours and hours of watching Friends. He communicates with international fans not because he's obligated, but because he genuinely wants them to feel included, understood, seen. And the pressure? Oh, the pressure. ARMY never forget that Namjoon is the member who often carried the burden of being the spokesperson, the translator, the leader, the one who had to speak perfectly, behave perfectly, answer perfectly even in moments that had nothing to do with him. You can see the weight in his early interviews, in the tense set of his shoulders, in the carefully chosen words that often hid how scared or uncertain he really was. Yet he endured, he learned, he grew. Now, when he speaks with the calm confidence of someone who has walked through fire and survived. ARMYs worldwide say the same thing. ARM taught me how to love myself. Not by preaching, but by living it step by painful step. Through albums like Mono and Indigo, through lyrics that peel open his insecurities and lay them bare, through the way he admits when he's wrong, through the honesty with which he shares his doubts, regrets, and lessons. His voice isn't just music, it's therapy. And then there's Namjoon, the friend, the brother, the protector. The way he watches over the members during interviews. The way he apologizes when a member slips in English. The way he places a hand on someone's back when they look nervous. The way he steps forward without hesitation whenever pressure rises. The way he lets the younger members shine, even if it means stepping back himself. Global ARMY love Namjoon because he is a leader who never leads alone. He leads with love, with patience, with vulnerability, with the kind of strength that doesn't intimidate, it inspires. That's what makes his position at number 3 feel so monumental yet so natural. He is a cultural icon, a global voice, a modern philosopher. But he's also just Namjoon, the guy who loves riding bikes by the river, who posts pictures of trees like they're old friends, who breaks things accidentally, who laughs with his entire body, who sits quietly in museums searching for pieces of himself in art. And maybe that's why ARMY around the world adore him so deeply, because in him, they see brilliance and softness existing side by side. They see leadership and fragility holding hands. They see someone who really tries to be better, kinder, stronger, more honest each day. Namjoon is not just the mind of BTS, he is its soul. And for millions of fans, he is proof that intelligence can be warm, that strength can be gentle, and that leaders are not born, they are built, word by word, choice by choice, heartbeat by heartbeat. Number 2, Jungkook, the golden pulse of a generation whose light reaches every corner of the world. Landing at number 2 feels like stepping into the eye of a cosmic storm, a storm made of admiration, affection, obsession, nostalgia, tenderness, and that unique brand of global devotion that only Jungkook seems capable of summoning. And the love ARMY feel for him isn't the kind that comes from charts, records, or statistics. Though if we were to talk about those, he dominates almost all of them without even trying. No, Jungkook is adored because he represents something bigger, something emotional, something universal. He is the boy who grew up before our eyes, the man who built himself from scratch, the dreamer who turned fear into strength, and the artist who somehow carries the hearts of millions without ever dropping his own. Global ARMY don't just love Jungkook, they feel him. His journey begins in Busan, where he was just a quiet kid with stars in his eyes and an instinctive pull toward creativity. even as a child, he chased excellence not because anyone demanded it, but because something inside him whispered, "You can do more." When he auditioned for Superstar K, he wasn't polished, he wasn't confident, he wasn't the powerhouse Jungkook we know today. He was shy, small, uncertain. Yet 7 companies wanted him anyway. Why? Because even in that fragile, nervous boy, there was a spark, an undeniable magnetic pull, a sense of possibility, a promise waiting to unfold. And when he chose Big Hit, he didn't just choose a company, he chose a family. He chose a road no one believed in, except 7 men who were willing to fight for a dream bigger than themselves. That decision changed everything, because the Jungkook who arrived at the dorms was a kid who rarely spoke, who followed the Hyungs silently, who blushed when asked simple questions. But the Jungkook the world fell in love with. He grew through effort, sacrifice, relentless practice, and the kind of discipline that even professionals call otherworldly. He trained until he collapsed. He practiced vocals until sunrise. He danced until sweat dripped onto the floor in steady streams. He absorbed everything rap from Namjoon and Yoongi, high notes from Jin and Jimin, dance from Hoseok, performance flair from Taehyung. He became a mosaic of the members' strengths, piecing himself together with their guidance until suddenly no one could deny it. Jungkook had become a force, and ARMY across the world watched this transformation not through headlines but through moments. The shaky-voiced teenager at debut who could barely maintain eye contact, the boy who used to hide behind his Hyungs during interviews, the young man who slowly grew into his presence, into his confidence, into the breathtaking aura that now turns stadiums into oceans of screams. Global ARMY loved Jungkook because he carries all of these eras inside him. He is both the introverted boy and the world-class performer, both the shy maknae and the powerhouse vocalist, both the goofy gamer and the charismatic stage king. It's this duality that makes him irresistible, unforgettable, and almost mythic in the eyes of fans. And then, there's his voice. Jungkook doesn't just sing, he bleeds emotion through every note. His tone is warm, pure, steady, rich. He can whisper like a dream dissolving into morning light or belt with the power of a tidal wave. He sings with honesty. That's why his covers go viral within hours. That's why his live performances melt timelines. That's why even non-fans admit, this guy, he's different. With Euphoria, he became the soundtrack to millions of people's happiest memories. With Still With You, he became the comfort fans play at 2 a.m. when the world feels too heavy. With Seven, Standing Next to You and Golden, he became the global superstar whose voice filled clubs, radios, playlists, and arenas across continents. But behind all the talent is a heart that ARMY cherish even more. Jungkook is loved because he is real. He doesn't pretend to be perfect, he shows his struggles openly. He doubts himself. He questions his worth. He worries about disappointing fans. And each time he admits it, ARMY fall deeper in love because someone so gifted shouldn't have to feel unsure. Yet he does. And instead of hiding it, he grows from it. He tries again. He practices again. He loves again. His love for ARMY is loud, visible, honest. He draws tattoos for them. He sings unreleased songs for them. He goes live during ungodly hours just to spend time with them. He laughs with them. He teases them. He misses them. He thanks them until his voice shakes. Jungkook doesn't treat ARMY like fans. He treats them like companions walking alongside him as he evolves, matures, stumbles, rises, and discovers who he is meant to be. And maybe that's the biggest reason he ranks so high globally. Because Jungkook is not just BTS's golden maknae anymore. He is the golden thread woven through millions of lives. The comfort of a soft melody. The thrill of a powerful stage. The nostalgia of watching someone you love grow. The inspiration of watching someone never give up. The reminder that transformation is possible. The proof that a heart can be strong and gentle at the same time. Jungkook is number 2 because he is adored in a way that transcends words, a love built from a decade of memories. Music, laughter, tears, triumphs, failures, and everything in between. And now, we are left with one final revelation. Number 1. Taehyung, the global heartbeat. There's a moment somewhere between the slow rise of a bass line and the soft shimmer of a stage light hitting his eyes, when Taehyung stops feeling like a performer and starts feeling like a phenomenon. And maybe that's the real reason he sits at the throne of this list. Because when you talk about the most loved BTS member in the world, you're no longer talking about popularity in the usual sense. You're talking about a presence, a vibe, an aura that reaches across countries, languages, and timelines. You're talking about someone whose existence alone rewires the emotional frequency of millions of people at once. And that is exactly what makes Taehyung the unshakable. Number 1. His story doesn't begin with records or fan cams, though he has millions of those. It begins with something much simpler: sincerity. The kind of sincerity that can't be taught, crafted, or manufactured. The kind that sits quietly inside a person and shows itself in the way they smile, the way they speak, even the way they breathe between sentences. ARMY saw that in him from the very beginning. That tender mix of innocence and confidence, that balance of unpredictability and calm. Taehyung has always been a walking contradiction in the best way: soft yet strong, mysterious yet transparent, playful yet profoundly introspective. You never fully know what he's thinking, but you always feel what he feels. And that's the magic. His love for art, jazz, photography, old movies, vintage aesthetics, none of it ever felt like he was trying to prove anything. It felt like he was letting us peek into a personal world, one built from memories, loneliness, beauty, and that deep yearning he often hides behind jokes. And ARMY, they never forget that. They know the boy who used to run around Daegu with big dreams and even bigger hope. They know the trainee who almost didn't debut because the company kept him hidden. They know the man who still gets nervous before singing live, but never lets it stop him from pouring his entire soul into every note. And maybe that's why his voice hits so hard. It's not just deep, it's emotional, warm like an old vinyl record, heavy with every unsaid feeling he's ever carried. When Taehyung sings, it doesn't feel like a performance, it feels like a confession. Sweet night, scenery, winter bear, snowflower. He doesn't release songs, he reveals pieces of himself, and ARMY treat those pieces like treasures. But beyond the art, the visuals, the voice, the charm, what truly cements his place at, number 1 is the impact. The way people who've never met him feel safer, lighter, and less alone because he exists somewhere in the same world. Taehyung is the type of person who makes life feel softer, the type of person who reminds you that quiet people have the loudest hearts, the type of person who can make millions of fans feel understood without needing to say a single word. Whether he's making a boxy smile on camera or spacing out during interviews, ARMY don't just watch him, they connect with him, they grow with him, they heal with him. They defend him with a loyalty usually reserved for family, because to them, he is family. Not an idol on a stage, but a constant reminder that beauty exists in small things, that emotions don't make you weak, and that being yourself, your real, unfiltered self, is the bravest thing you can do. And that's why the love for Taehyung isn't loud, it's deep, steady, immovable, the kind of love that doesn't fade with trends or waves or scandals or time, the kind that stays, the kind that grows, the kind that turns a person into the most beloved member of one of the biggest groups in the world. In the end, it's simple. Taehyung isn't number 1 because he tries. He's number 1 because he is. The global heartbeat, the quiet storm, the soul of ARMY's affection. And no matter how many lists are made, no matter how many years pass, no matter how big BTS becomes, Taehyung will always have a place in the front row of their hearts. Always.